Enjoy this clip from my other channel, The Line, where we do call-in shows 5 days a week with a huge cast of awesome people. And we're adding 2 political shows a week until the election. Check it out. Tim in California, did you know Jimmy Snow has a podcast starting September 6th?
I didn't know.
Well, now you do. All right. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you, Jim?
Please, no one calls me Jim. Jimmy is fine.
You like Jimmy? Well,
I like
my
Jimmy.
name is Tim. Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
My name is Tim. When somebody calls me Timmy, it always makes me feel like a little boy.
Well, I am a little boy at heart, so let's just stick to my little boy Jimmy name.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's virtue or vice on your part. I may have the same problem.
My grandfather went by Jim, so I prefer being the distinctly different Jimmy. But anyway, what's the what's you're a theist, you're calling in about the truth. You want to know what the truth is, I think. What's your deal?
Yeah, how would you define the truth?
I mean, do you want the philosophical definition? Do you want a colloquial definition? If we want to get deep and pedantic and start sniffing our own farts, I would say it's that which is objective, consistent, and universal. That's the literal three qualities of truth.
I think a good definition of the truth would be a statement or belief that corresponds to reality. Would you accept that? Okay.
Yes, and how you would find out what that is by testing whether it is objective, consistent, and universal.
Yeah, right. And so would you agree that there are 3 immutable properties of truth, that all truth is universal, that if something is true, it's true for everybody, and that all truth is eternal, at least going forward, and all truth is exclusivistic by nature?
So the phrases used in philosophy are not eternal, and what was the other one you used? You were right about consistent.
Yeah, all truth is universal. So, and then the other claim I would make is that truth is eternal.
And what was the third one you said?
Exclusivistic in its nature.
Okay. So the traditional 3 immutable properties of truth are objective, consistent, universal. Eternal and exclusive, you could say, are a part of the others. Exclusive, you could maybe say, is part of objectivity, though it's not its totality. And you could say eternal is a part of consistent, but again, not in its totality. But anyway, just splitting hairs here, since we're having one of these philosophy talks on a show where we have conversations about what do you believe and why, and proving to people that if you want to force me to do it, I can fucking do it, but I'll sniff my farts harder than you sniff yours. Yeah,
I try. If I kind of fart, I usually try to leave the room. I'm not interested in sniffing my own bad gas, if you will.
You crop dusting motherfucker. Anyway, go on.
Oh, come on. I want to have a friendly and respectful conversation.
It was a joke. It was a joke. You said you fart and leave a room.
Okay,
I said you crop dust. Take the goddamn... All right,
Jim.
Let's continue with our pedantry. What's the question after it? Yes, it's universal, eternal, and exclusive. I would say objective, consistent, and universal. Oku.
Yeah.
How I remember them.
Okay, well, this kind of philosophy is really important because I believe in God and you guys don't, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
So Jim, are you an atheist agnostic type unbeliever? I mean, you
technically,
don't know
yes, but I also am a
strong...
strong... I would not say I know God doesn't exist, but I would say that I believe no gods exist because not only is there a lack of evidence for God, that we actually also have a pretty good amount of evidence for where God myths come from. And all of the myths I am aware of is consistent with that same type of origin. And it seems to me that the most reasonable explanation of God, of the concept of God, are these myths, are consistent with those myth origins, and not that there is actually one out there. But I cannot claim that a broken clock is not right twice a day, and therefore it is absolutely possible Well, actually, I don't know if it's possible. I cannot eliminate the possibility that some God is out there somewhere. However, I don't believe there is, and I believe that there is not.
So really, you're an agnostic.
I'm an agnostic, strong atheist.
Okay. So 50-50. Let it go at that. Eve,
Nope,
what about you?
nope,
You used to be a
nope,
Christian.
No,
nope,
that's not-
nope, 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 no, no,
That's
no,
not
no,
what he
nope,
said at
nope,
all.
nope, nope. 50-50 is not what agnosticism establishes. To say I don't believe, therefore I think the odds are 50-50 is not at all correct.
No, I didn't mean to say that. You're 50% atheist, 50% agnostic. You're really not sure.
I am not giving a 50-50 odds to the existence of God. In fact, I would put the odds of the existence of God as extremely low if I think
Why do
any
you keep
odds
calling
exist
him
at all.
Jim? Can we just call you Timmy then? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can call me Timmy if you want, honey, because you're so pretty.
Oh my God. So now you're going to go,
Timmy.
you're just going to be overtly sexist now? The fuck is wrong with you?
Sexist.
Yes, it is. She isn't flirting with you. She hasn't established. You are calling in to a fucking call-in show. You are calling into a call-in show that's about God and immediately sexualizing and objectifying the female caller. Do you think, Tim, this is the way you are going to meet the next person who is going to love you? You're calling into a show to debate about God, and you're like, oh, but by the way, here I want to shoot my shot with the woman on the panel. The fuck is wrong with you, Tim? We're here to either talk about God or nothing. Certainly not what your dick wants to get up to. Yes, there is.
There's nothing wrong with
it's irrelevant. Why haven't you mentioned how I look, Tim? How come you haven't mentioned how I look?
Well, I don't think that you're an ugly guy.
Why didn't you bring it up? Why didn't it come up when you were talking about the Jimmy thing?
I'm genuinely not interested in your opinion on how anybody looks or pet names that you want to call people. You've now called Jimmy and I pet names. I'm more interested in...
Stop talking over Eve. I know that you're not used to letting women say their piece and talking over them and not caring about their feelings when you disrespect them, but stop talking over her. Eve, please continue.
Okay.
With my male permission. I'm just kidding. And
I wasn't trying to be sexist.
Yeah, but you were. You were both of those things. You were both.
Let's get to your point. Okay. So what's your point? I'm an agnostic atheist.
That's true.
So Tim, forget whatever. Let's go forward. I was a Christian. I used to believe in a God, and now I don't believe in a God.
Okay. And how long have you been an atheist agnostic?
I'm curious why this is relevant. It's about 7 years. But instead of you asking me questions, which you can go listen to my content and stuff, curious. This is about you calling in to tell us what you believe and why.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious. I just asked that question out of curiosity. Okay. I've been a Christian since I was 28, and I'm now almost 64. Next month, I'll be 64. And I believe that the topic of God is a fundamental importance when it comes to successful living and human flourishing. And for instance, one of the things that attracted me to Christianity and to Christ was his command that we should love one another and treat one another with respect or endeavor to do so. I don't think that anybody is perfect. I know that I'm not. And I believe that Christianity is irrational. It's true because it's rational, and it's rational because it's true. If everybody believed in Jesus, loved God with all of their heart, soul, mind, and strength, and loved their neighbor, and endeavored to love their neighbor as they love themselves, we'd have a different world.
Interesting. How was the world when people were the most faithful to Christianity? Sorry, Eve, you can take it.
No,
I'm sorry, Jen. I didn't hear the first part of that.
How was the world? What did the world look like when the people were the most faithful to Christianity they've ever been?
Yeah, that would be before the fall of Adam and Eve.
No, because you can't have Christianity before the fall. I was thinking about times like the Crusades, I was thinking about the fact that we've actually never had a time that the world was this good. And in fact, it's been as we've put down religious concepts and favored them for more secular concepts like science, like secular versions of morality that don't have a book where it's like, hey guys, please only notice this part of the book where he says love one another, and really ignore the part where he was like, slaves, have them. Here's a way you can trick 7 weird tricks to make someone your slave. You won't believe number 4. You know, ignore that part of the book, but love the rest of the one page where Jesus doesn't sound like a total piece of shit. The key, stick in on that one. You're literally wrong in everything you're describing. The book isn't true. The book is full of all types of falsehoods, both literal physical falsehoods and historical falsehoods. People literally, most of the world believes that one of the first forms of cruelty was the African enslavement of Jews. That didn't happen. They think the story of Moses literally happened, and it didn't. So you're talking about this book of truth and this thing in the fall of Adam, and it's true because it's rational, and it's rational because it's true. I'm very interested in a person who seems to know 3 words that are supposed to be a part of the 3 immutable things that make that define truth, the 3 immutable characteristics, and yet thinks magic is ever considered to qualify for those 3 immutable characteristics. Wild that you would use terms like rational and true.
Well, what about the concept of love being the supreme virtue? What do you think about that, Jim and Eve? Love doing no harm to its neighbor.
How would you even define that? It's not an entity. Love doesn't exist. It's an English word that we've made up to define all kinds of different things.
I love burritos.
Well, I think
I love my dog.
Okay, well, I love big burritos too, particularly the ones that don't give me
Great,
gas.
you're so virtuous because of your burrito love.
Okay, come on. I mean, I'm trying to be friendly here. Okay.
I think that Christianity is being friendly as soon as you started excusing your own sexism and shittiness to my co-host. So if you want to continue, know that I think that you are wrong and completely full of shit. I like that you brought up your age of how long you've been a Christian, which is literally a type of argument from authority called an appeal to experience. It's a logical fallacy if you're trying to use it to build credibility. As you first asked how long we've been in our different states, I'm sorry that you've wasted 40 years of your life when I only had to bother wasting 20.
Well, I'd be pretty bitter about it too. Before. I'm sorry. I don't think that I've wasted my life. I consider my Christian life to be, or Jesus to be my Savior and my God.
And he thinks nothing about you because he doesn't exist.
True, if Jesus raised himself from the grave, then everything that the Bible has to say is true. Jesus.
No, incorrect. Okay, that is also a logical fallacy. You could actually verify every single miracle in the Bible, every single one of them. If you had video evidence of him raising from the dead, that technically would not prove he isn't lying about how he did it. The idea that if you verify, but by the way, Tim, you can't even do that. You can't verify any of them, any of the miracles, any of them. And so you're sitting here going, if these miracles I have no proof of are true, then the Bible's true, which isn't correct in and of itself. And you don't have that proof. So you have 2 layers of it's dumb you believe this.
Whatever we choose to believe in, it is a matter of faith.
You don't choose to believe. So now it's amazing. You started with philosophy. You can't choose your beliefs.
If somebody put a gun to my head right now and told me to believe in Santa Claus or I'm going to die, and they had me hooked up to an accurate lie detector test, it doesn't matter how much I pretend to believe in Santa Claus, I cannot force myself to do that, and I'm going to fail the lie detector test. I cannot choose, no matter how badly I want to, what my beliefs are.
Yeah, I think that's not correct. I would disagree with you.
You're wrong. You are wrong. It doesn't matter what you think. You are wrong. You are either convinced or not.
I believe in free will, and you are a volitional creature just like every other human being created in the image of God.
New fallacy, false dichotomy. The opposite of free will is not whether or not you can choose a belief.
Do you want a conversation, or do you want to just yell?
You're right. I don't. You're right. Not with you. Literally every layer has been dumb. So you're right. If you're going to complain about it, you literally cannot choose what you believe. You are either convinced or you are not convinced. Period. That's how it works. Whether, as Eve just expressed, and it is a false dichotomy to provide the idea that the opposite of that would be choose doesn't mean that you can't choose, doesn't mean somebody else chose for you. It means when you took the information, it either compelled you to change your mind or not, or affirmed something or not. The opposite of that is not free will. But by the way, I don't believe we have free will. Doesn't mean I think anybody's choosing stuff for us either, but I think we live in a deterministic universe. Don't sexualize my host and I'll be nicer to whoever you are. Just so you know. The next one of you.
I was pissed when he kept calling you Jim. Like, what is the point of... anyways, that was an all around.
It's a problem I'm calling...
One of my least favorite callers ever.
It's wrong I'm calling him Jim. Maybe I should call Eve Honey.
Honey.
Because that was what he called you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed... I bet you didn't enjoy that clip. I know I didn't. And I know that I will not be looking up Jimmy Snow has a podcast on all of the platforms that it's available. And it's a lot of platforms. They will put so much... They say, sir, we're going to put up so much crap, so much terrible stuff on the internet. And it's just like, wow, when are you going to get a clue? I do not want you to click like, do not subscribe, and certainly do not leave a comment. Frankly, that would be a terrible, terrible deal. The worst deal I think I have ever seen